He's won nearly everything the sport has to offer. But Pete Weber has never been named PBA Player of the Year.
Who do you think you are? I am!
Can he lay claim to that elusive honor with a win today at the PBA World Championship? They come from all over the planet for the sport's most prestigious international event, the World Series of Bowling. 240 pros from 21 countries are here in Las Vegas. Among them, the PBA's best. All competing for the multiple PBA titles that are up for grabs.
Yes!
It's professional bowling's ultimate test, full of triumphs.
Yes!
And disappointments. And it's coming at you next on ESPN.
Yes!
PBA World Series of Bowling 5. Welcome to South Point in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is the PBA World Championship. Time now to meet our finalists.
The number 5 seed, 37 career PBA titles, including 10 majors. The only player in PBA history to win the Triple Crown twice. From St. Anne, Missouri, PDW, Pete Weber. The number 4 seed. In 2009, he captured the PBA World Championship for his first career title. Win number 2 came at this year's World Series of Bowling when he won the PBA Scorpion Championship. From Saginaw, Michigan, Tom Smallwood. The number 3 seed, this 4-time PBA Tour champion and 4-time member of Team USA. From Fort Worth, Texas, the King of Swing, Mike Fagan. The number 2 seed is a 7-time PBA Tour champion, including 2 majors. The reigning PBA Player of the Year from Montgomery, Illinois, Sean Rash. The number 1 seed was the 2008, 2009, and 2010 World Bowling Writers Bowler of the Year from Colchester, England, Dom Barrett.
And hello again, everyone. Mike Jakubowski, laneside, alongside PBA Hall of Famer Randy Peterson. Randy, this is it, the main event World Series of Bowling, full field international flavor, and coming out of the 2 and the 5 spot today, major title and major implications for Player of the Year.
Yeah, there really is. Sean Rash, the reigning Player of the Year, looking to win the award back-to-back seasons. But I think we have to mention PDW, Pete Weber. A lot of players feel that if he wins this event, he's your Player of the Year. Remember his last 2 titles. Who can forget 2 years ago this historic moment?
That is why I did it! At number 5! Are you kidding me? That's right! Who do you think you are? I am!
That's right. Who do you think you are? I am, as he won his 5th U.S. Open. And then earlier this season, taking down Belmonte at the Tournament of Champions. It's a tall order for Weber today. He's got to climb the stepladder finals, and look at this, murderer's row of champions. He takes on Tom Smallwood in the opening match, the winner to meet Mike Fagan, a major championship winner. Then Sean Rash, a major championship winner. And the winner of that match will face Dom Barrett. Tall order for Weber today, but if anybody can do it, 51-year-old Pete Weber can do it.
The 3rd member of our broadcast crew, ESPN's Kimberly Pressler, stands by with PDW.
Thanks, guys. Pete, you know, you've accomplished every single thing you can do here in bowling except the honor of Player of the Year. Now, a lot of the guys on this tour think that if you win this championship today, it's going to be yours. How does that weigh on you?
Well, I think if I'd win today, that'd give me a 2nd major in the race, and I think the guys would really have to look at that. So, you know, if I win today, I have a pretty good shot at it.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, let's check out the PBA World Championship oil pattern, 41 feet in length. Pretty good scores on this oil pattern. Notice no blue dye.
the PBA is trying a bit of an experiment at this year's World Series, using blue dye to show where the oil is on the lanes. But PBA officials decided against using it at this one event since it's a major championship. However, it will be back for next week's World Bowling Tour Finals. So now we are ready. The first world champion of the World Series of Bowling era will open things up. 2009 winner Tom Smallwood. Light hit carries the 7, and we're underway.
Great shot to start this opening match here at the World Championship by Tom Smallwood, a winner already at the World Series of Bowling this season.
Hall of Famer Pete Weber says he's throwing the ball better now than at any time in his career. Strike apiece.
Pete Weber made a lifestyle change, Mike J., and Pete is finally at peace with Pete. Remarkable what he's doing at age 51, but if you ask any of the players out on this tour, none of them really feel that this is remarkable. They just say it's Pete doing what Pete does.
Pete said he changed his lifestyle just a little bit, and that has changed his outlook. His wife Tracy looks on. Weber in the second, drives it back.
What a run he made to get to this point in match play. Using two different bowling balls, Pete Weber, the classic ageless style, the best physical game the sport of bowling has ever seen.
Tom Smallwood, now a two-time champion on the PBA Tour. And we've got a match. Double apiece.
I'm not sure if most people know this, but Tom Smallwood is actually a full roller where the track goes between the fingers and thumb. We usually relate full rollers to bowlers that throw the ball straight. Tom Smallwood certainly doesn't do that.
Pipes it over the second arrow, right through the pocket.
You can hear just as that ball leaves his hand, about the first 5 or 6 feet when it's on the lane, it's actually ticking the thumb hole until the ball flares off of it. Both players off to a great start. Major championship implications on the line.
Winner here gets Mike Fagan. Opening match of the PBA World Championship 5-player stepladder. Weber toes the line in the third. And we've got a turkey apiece.
Take a look at Pete's arsenal. He's using a Marvel S on the right lane, a Defiant Soul on the left lane. We've seen a lot of this on the championship pair here at the World Series of Bowling. Players using two different bowling balls, even though it's the same oil pattern. You could probably attribute that to the topography of the lane surface.
Comes up a little high, but he trips the far. Handball!
Did you see that? That's Pete Weber. That's PDW. Tripping out the 4.710 late. The Hall of Famer gets a nice break here early on to take a 10-pin lead. Smallwood needs to strike here in the fourth to even it up.
Dead flush.
You look at the one player in this top five that probably wouldn't be rattled by the likes of PDW. It's probably Tom Smallwood as we take a look at his arsenal using a Versamax. You can see the unique layout because of that full roller track that Tom Smallwood has. Rolls it up on that wrist and forearm. Oh my.
Super washout.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I didn't either. This ball never even hooks coming off the end of the pattern. You can see it just, it almost looked like it hit a big puddle of oil right in front of the head pin.
Open frame for Smallwood. Opening match of the PBA World Championship. Pete Weber with a win today would go third on the all-time list and break the tie, and it would be an unprecedented 11th major, eclipsing the great record of Earl Anthony.
Long way to go for that. But Pete Weber right now can take a step closer with a couple of strikes here in the 5th frame and the 6th frame.
And another one. Fine bagger for Weber. And a big lead.
Great shot by Weber, taking advantage of the opening from Smallwood. Now, what adjustment does he make on the left lane? Remember the last time on the left lane, a little high. Take a look at this. Great release, great rotation. 6-pin goes to the wall, takes care of the 10. That's when you know the bowling ball is going through the pins the right way.
Tracy looks on, 6th frame. And no! 6 strikes denied.
Well, the messenger goes in front of the 10-pin instead of taking the 10 out. Weber was running it out. He wanted to slap that one off heading into commercial.
Spare for Weber. He sticks the landing, and he's got a big lead, 30 pins against Smallwood. Can he advance up the stepladder and claim that unprecedented 11th major? Stick with us at the World Series of Bowling. Welcome back to South Point in Las Vegas. The PBA World Championship is a major. So how did our top 5 make it onto the stepladder today? Well, after taking and combining the qualifying results from all 4 of the animal pattern tournaments here at the World Series of Bowling 5, which featured the cheetah, the viper, chameleon, and scorpion oil patterns, the top 24 players went to match play. Today's number 1 seed, Dom Barrett, was in control almost the entire 24 games of match play, only losing the standings lead briefly to eventual second seed Sean Rash. But one of the biggest stories out of qualifying was 59-year-old Tom Baker, who won the 2004 PBA World Championship. Despite rolling a 276 and defeating Jason Belmonte in his final match, Baker would fall just 27 pins shy of making the show, finishing 6th behind Pete Weber. Baker was denied when Tom Smallwood and Pete Weber both won their final matches, with Smallwood throwing 11 consecutive strikes to beat Mika Koivuniemi, 279 to 189. Five strikes and 9 for Weber, 4 strikes in an open frame, which creates a 30-pin deficit, 6th frame. Smallwood working now on the open frame. Lane Talk stats indicate that during the course of the tournament, Smallwood is 52% on strikes after opens.
Back on it.
As we've mentioned, Tom Smallwood already a winner at this year's World Series, taking last week's Scorpion Championship. The win, the 2nd title of Smallwood's career, the first, his incredible victory at the 2009 PBA World Championship. So what would a 3rd title and a 2nd major mean to Tom?
It'd be great. You know, I'd have 2 majors. I've never had the pipe dream of coming out here being a Hall of Famer, but I'd love to come out here and win a couple titles. You know, this is our job, this is our living, this is our dream of kids to come out and do this. So to win another major would be, it's something more than I could ever dream of.
And a double for Smallwood, cuts the deficit to 20 pins.
The problem with his open frame, though, in the 5th was he lost count, almost like 2 opens in 1 frame. He went from a 220 to 2-0 in one frame. That 5th frame washout cost him a lot of pins.
Weber up in the 7th, working on the spare. 20-pin lead. Winner gets Mike Fagan in our next match. Perfect shot from Weber.
All right, let's take a look at the Dexter approach featuring Pete Weber. Pete's been doing this his entire life, something that's very prevalent now with all the power players, this elongated 3rd step right there. What that does is it allows him to get that ball up to the top of the backswing, back down, he loads up, and look at that position right there. He's ready to deliver the power into the foul line. Perfect.
And a double, increases the lead back to 30.
Mike J., let's not forget the last time Weber climbed the stepladder to win a title. Just a couple of years ago at the US Open. Who do you think you are? I am.
I have my coffee mug at home. When I feel a little spicy, I fill that up in the morning.
You're not stalking him, are you?
No, sir. More appreciation. Smallwood needs this strike. 8th frame, he trails by 30 pins. Crossing over.
That might be costly for Smallwood. He needed to keep striking to keep the pressure on Weber. He could have struck out for 259. Weber already in the 240s. Smallwood's relentless. Even though the open frame was there in the 5th, comes back with a couple of strikes, and now this one through the nose.
Here's a look at champions in the World Series of Bowling 5. Wes Malott claims the Cheetah. Chris Barnes takes the Viper. Ryan Simonelli, the Chameleon. And Tom Smallwood earns his 2nd PBA Tour title at the Scorpion. Who will fill that 5th slot and claim a major? Foundation frame. Fills with a strike for Smallwood.
Still a possible 238.
Weber needs to stay clean, out of trouble, fill frames with marks 9th and 10th. He will move on to face Mike Fagan.
Turkey for Weber, taking control.
That's the best mark when you need it. Weber just needs good count now in the 10th frame. He knew that was the shot. Spare ball down the middle. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Weber moves on, takes on Mike Fagan in the next match.
A good run for Smallwood comes to an end here at the PBA World Championship. The 2009 winner, the first of the World Series of Bowling era. Our next match, Pete Weber, Mike Fagan, is coming up next when the World Series of Bowling returns. World Series of Bowling 5 continues. Opening match at the PBA World Championship. Pete Weber a winner, 258-237 over Tom Smallwood. Randy Peterson is laneside with PDW.
Thanks, Mike J. Pete, nice opening game there. Pretty tidy, pretty clean. Why the two different balls on this oil pattern?
Well, it just seemed like the one ball on the right lane reacted better to the lane condition that was out. The ball on the left lane reacted better to that. So, I'm not afraid to throw two balls. So let them pick a lane which they want to make me finish on.
Great choice. Hey, Pete, thanks for your time, and it's always nice to have Tracy here.
Yes, it is.
Randy and Pete talked about the oil pattern, and the oil has been getting quite a bit of attention here at the World Series of Bowling. For the first time ever, the PBA has figured out a way to add a blue dye to the oil, which now makes it easy to see exactly what the players have to contend with. The dye was used at the 4 Animal Pattern Championships at this year's World Series. The longest of those patterns, the Scorpion, at 47 feet. Tom Smallwood, the winner there. The next longest pattern was Chameleon at 43 feet, dominated by Southpaw Ryan Simonelli. Then came the Viper at 39 feet, Chris Barnes earning his 16th career PBA Tour title there. And the shortest pattern, Cheetah, at 35 feet, where Wes Malott shot a 243 in the title match for the win. Because it's a major, there's no blue oil at today's PBA World Championship. But we'll see the oil again next week, literally, at the World Bowling Tour Finals. Coming up next, Pete Weber goes up against today's number 3 seed, Mike Fagan, here at the PBA World Championship.